Hey, I recently had somebody request a video tutorial for throwing closed lid forms that are then turned into jars, lidded jars. So here we go. Once I get it opened up, I want to be mindful of making sure I maintain the triangular shape that is my shape prior to throwing anything. So any cylinder or anything that I want to throw, I keep my clay in this inverted triangle like this so that I have the ability to change the shape and have enough clay when I need to. If I don't keep it in this inverted triangle, I end up with a more bowl-like shape, which especially for this project would be problematic because I am eventually going to take this top and completely close it. So I don't want to have a shape that's wide at the top and then have to work to close it. I want to have a shape that's already close to close so I have less to go, less room to go. What's fun about this style of lidded jar is that you don't have to worry about measuring for a galley or a lid. I don't know, I kind of like the simplicity of this style. It keeps it really straightforward, and once I mastered how to catch the lid, I don't know if you saw that video of me, but it's tricky. Once I figured out, well, mastered's the wrong word. Once I figured out how to carefully catch the lid, things on this style of jar got much easier. So I'm nearing about the height I want. I'm gonna bring out my walls a little bit. And then as I come closer to the top, I'm going to make sure I don't press my wall out. So you can see here I've got a beautifully spiraled vessel. I'm gonna make sure I have all the water out of the inside. I'm compressing the bottom here. I don't want to have any S cracking, so the more compression you do and the more water you remove, the less opportunity there is for S cracks in the drying process. So I'm bringing this rim in, I'm kind of throwing it in. Then I'm going to continue to collar and throw. I don't want to thin out the shoulder too much. We'll end up with a collapsed shoulder again. Got a good amount of clay up here in this top last inch. Now it's thinning out nicely. I don't end up with a really heavy top. I'm trying to go into the inside with dry hands so that I don't put extra moisture into the pot. Nope, I just dropped it over there. Okay. And I'm getting close to that final little bit. So I'm just bringing this in little by little until I get to a point where I can push this closed. What's cool about the next few steps, once I get it closed, is I will have a completely sealed airtight canister that will allow me to kind of finish up, do some touch-up shaping, because the air will be pressing from the inside out and I'll be pressing from the outside in. So I've got this kind of funky little look going on right now, but that's okay. I'm not worried about it because I'm going to use the air to help me finish shaping in just a moment. Okay, I'm about there. So I've just been pulling that in pushing this closed. I'm about the width of a fingertip now. I'm gonna get up to where I can't keep my finger in there anymore. It's just about the width of my pinky. And now I'm just going to bring that clay together and pinch off that top. And now I have a sealed canister. Now comes the fun part. One of the fun parts. I think the whole process is fun. Come back in, make sure I like what I've got here as far as the shape. Like I said earlier, I really like straight-sided shapes. So I'm gonna keep it pretty simplistic. Smooth out my lid. Trim up the bottom a little bit. And this is the part I have failed with before, is the getting my in cut at the right level so that the jar lid looks like it should look. I don't want to cut in for the jar lid way down. I don't want to, oh, that's gonna be a lot quieter. I don't want to cut in for the jar lid way up high and have a very narrow lid. This is kind of a chunky little jar here, so I wanna make sure I incorporate the style of the walls and of the jar itself into the way the lid looks. So, let me grab my tool. I'm pretty sure you can use any tool that has a width you like for a gallery or a gallery, I think it's called a gallery, and a flange to sit inside that gallery. So I've been using this as one of Sunshine Cobb's wooden tools that she sells on her website for smoothing and finishing, and I really have found that this end works perfectly. So, but again, play around, find a tool that works for you. This is just one that works for me. And I make sure that my wall is wet, my tool is wet, and then what I'm doing from the other side here, I'm going to just press this tool into the wall of the vessel to create the flange and the gallery. A little indentation right there. So I'm going to create, I want this little line that I just made to be the top of my lid, the bottom of my lid. And I'm just going to come around.
Power off.
And press in to start to create the gallery. So what I'm essentially doing by pressing into this wall is that this part that the tool is touching becomes the flange. The flange is what sits inside the jar. So this is becoming the flange. And the part that, this part here, is becoming the gallery. Smooth some things up. And then there's a lot, or well, not too much, that you get to do in the trimming stage to make sure that things are aligned and look good. So if it's not perfect right now, I'm not going to worry too much, but I am using the air inside to help me straighten up this wall. And there we have it. Part 2 coming at you soon, once this is dry enough for me to get off the bat, cut the lid off, and trim the flange and the gallery. Thanks for watching. I hope it's helpful. Okay, second part of the lidded jar, and this is the part that always gets me. I have to cut this piece apart and quickly catch the lid so that it does not go flying off. So, cross our fingers. Here we go. I'm taking a needle tool. I'm going to insert it down here at the bottom lip and go slowly not so slowly that it takes forever. Caught it. Okay, so we have this part which will become the lid. Here is the flange. And now my job is to clean this up on the inside, trim this top part, and then I'll have my lidded jar. Now I use the body of the jar as a chuck for my lid. I get my lid centered in here. Make sure it's going. Okay, let's see if it fits. Fits! There you have it, a lidded jar.